Look closely at this creature. By every traditional law of aviation known to humanity, it should not be in the air. For decades, early aerodynamic calculations mocked the bumblebee. Its body is too heavy. Its wings are too small. It doesn't glide like an airplane, or flap gracefully like a bird. Yet it flies. It is nature's ultimate aviation outlaw. The flight of the bumblebee is not a mistake. It is an engineering masterpiece, a gateway to a list of superpowers so bizarre they sound like science fiction. This is the story of how an insect broke physics to conquer the world. Act 1. Mastering the laws of physics. To understand how this heavy giant flies, we have to throw out everything we know about airplanes. Airplanes need smooth, steady streams of air over fixed wings to generate lift. A bumblebee's wings are beautiful chaos. 1. The super wing hookup. A bumblebee has 2 wings on each side. Microscopic hooks lock the bee's front and back wings together on each side. This creates one large, combined wing on each side that traps far more air. 2. The spring engine. The bee's chest muscles work like an automatic spring, stretching and relaxing, while vibrating up to 200 times per second. The chest cavity flattens to drive the forward sweep and narrows to power the backward stroke, looping the cycle automatically. 3. The bird versus bee twist. Think of a bird, only its downward flap creates lift. The upward movement is just a reset. A bumblebee gets lift non-stop. Instead of flapping vertically, bees sweep their wings forward and backward horizontally, tracing a continuous rapid figure 8 pattern through the air. Every time the wing reaches the end of a forward or backward sweep, it rapidly flips its angle like twisting an oar in water. At its miniature scale, air feels as thick as syrup, forcing the bee to burn massive energy just to fight constant, sticky air friction. 4. The lift machine, the mini tornadoes. Because the wings sweep at a very steep, aggressive angle, this creates a total of 4 primary mini tornadoes, 2 on each side. The suction. The spinning whirlwinds create a zone of very low air pressure above the bee. The liftoff. The normal, slower air underneath the wing is at a much higher pressure, physically pushing the heavy bumblebee upward into the vacuum. 5. Why standard physics fails. Standard, bird-like lift physics completely fail at this miniature scale, because birds rely on smooth, steady airflow over wings. But as you scale down to the size of an insect, air stops behaving like a gas and begins acting like a sticky, thick, syrupy fluid. At this micro level, a standard wing moving forward simply drags air along with it, losing all lift and ability to fly. Therefore, the bee has no choice but to use its specialized tornado trick, meaning the bee must burn massive energy just to sustain such rapid wing speeds. As we have seen, they don't flap up and down. They beat back and forth, like twisting an oar in water on every single stroke. This violent motion slices the air, creating those tiny controlled hurricanes right above their wings. But keeping this miniature hurricane spinning requires a large amount of fuel. The bumblebee's metabolic engine burns energy at a high rate. Because of this high-frequency flight, a bumblebee with an empty nectar pouch is always living on the edge of a knife, possessing energy reserves calculated to last a mere 40 minutes. Act 2. Fueling the engine. To make matters worse, flight requires extreme warmth. They cannot fly if flight muscle temperatures drop below 30 degrees Celsius. So, how does this heavy insect fly in the freezing early spring mornings, when honeybees are still locked inside? It uses a built-in furnace. Before takeoff, the bumblebee locks its wings in neutral, turning its thorax into a vibrating engine. This allows it to violently shiver its massive chest muscles to generate heat without moving the wings, raising its internal thoracic temperature to between 30 and 35 degrees Celsius. It literally preheats its engine. Act 3. The high-flying mission. Armed with this internal heater and exoskeleton of dense, waxy, waterproof hair that deflects heavy rain, the bumblebee goes on a mission. And its flight isn't aimless wandering. It is guided by a mind of unbelievable intelligence. Every day, the bumblebee solves a mathematical nightmare known to computer scientists as traveling salesman problem. It memorizes the locations of hundreds of flowers, calculates the wind speed, and uses complex spatial math to plot the absolute shortest, most energy-efficient flight path to visit them all. To track this route, it uses 5 eyes. While its large compound eyes track motion, 3 simple eyes crown its head, acting as a biological solar compass, reading filtered sunlight even on cloudy days. Through these eyes, the world looks completely different. Flowers reveal hidden ultraviolet landing strips, guiding the flying giant exactly to the target. But time is fuel. It cannot waste a single landing on a flower that has already been drained. So, it reads chemical signals. When a bumblebee lands, glands in its feet leave behind a distinct scent footprint. It's a signpost for the next flying bee that reads "Keep moving." This one is empty. Act 4: Sonic Pulse Generators and Messy Castles. When it finds an unvisited flower, its flight muscles transform into a sonic pulse generator. In a process called buzz pollination, the bee anchors itself and vibrates at a precise frequency, unleashing a violent acoustic shockwave directly into the flower. This localized shockwave forces locked flowers to violently erupt, showering the bee in a cloud of golden pollen. It carries this treasure back to a hidden world. Unlike the rigid, geometric wax grids of honeybees, the bumblebee nest is a chaotic, rustic castle of crude, open-topped wax honeypots. And here lies one of nature's greatest plot twists: bumblebees do not make traditional honey. Because their wings burn energy instantly, they don't bother to fan, dehydrate, and preserve nectar into thick, golden syrup. They leave it raw, thin, and watery. It is a fuel built strictly for short-term, day-to-day survival. If rain locks them inside for just a few days, this entire castle faces starvation. To protect this fragile empire, they use their flight muscles one last time not to move, but to act as living air conditioners, fanning their wings at the nest's entrance to regulate the colony's internal temperature and keep the larvae alive. Conclusion: the price of the bumblebee's matchless flight. But the bumblebee's lifestyle carries a tragic price. Because they do not store a massive winter pantry of honey, the colony cannot survive the cold. As autumn freezes the landscape, the workers, the drones, and the old queen all perish. Their flight is over. The entire legacy of the empire rests on a single survivor, a newly mated queen. These queens grow so massive and fuzzy, they are called flying mice. Remarkably, she can even survive being completely submerged by groundwater, or flash floods for up to a week. During this deep winter inactive sleep under the ground, she drops her metabolism to a near-dead state, utilizes oxygen-free energy pathways, and traps a thin layer of air around her body to literally breathe underwater. This giant must endure the winter frozen underground alone. And when the sun returns, she will take to the sky. She will fly alone, gather pollen, build a new castle from nothing, and pass down the secret code of the mini tornado. The bumblebee does not care what our laws of physics say. It doesn't fly because it's easy. It flies because it must. And in doing so, it keeps our entire world alive.